stuff. So tracing blood flow, heart is actually right there. So if you pull this down, you can pull that skin out. There you go. So the bottom portion.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. So that little gray part on the bottom, that's the sinus venosus. The thing directly beneath it is the atrium. The atrium's on the back of the heart.
One?
Yeah.
Okay.
This portion, if you put the heart down, that's your ventricle. And then your conus arteriosus goes up. If you pull it up even harder,
Right there.
yeah, that's your conus arteriosus. That goes to your ventral aorta, which you can't see, but it would go straight up. And your ventral aorta will drain into your afferent branchial arteries, which will go to your gills. And then it will go into your post or pre-traumatic arteries, which are those.
This is three, right?
Yeah, it depends on which side, I guess. Yeah, it's annoying. I honestly think you could argue. You open it up. I don't think he'll pin because he has a model, but it's an option. Those are your efferent branchial arteries that meet up into your dorsal aorta. And you can, if you're going cranial to the cranial end, you can drain into your radix aorta, which are those two.
Wow.
And then your excuse me, internal carotids, which is the top thing right there. And I want to say that the one before the radix joins up is the Hyodian epibranchial. And I think that's all you can see.
Okay.
Is that the spiracle? Did the spiracle have something coming out of it?
Right here.
Yeah.
Like veins or something?
Yeah, they haven't. There's an afferent and efferent artery.
But you
But
can't see them, right?
yeah, because your spiracle's up here. So I guess if you pull this all back, you could see it. But
I
it's
think
really,
it connects.
Yeah, it connects.
it
right
connects
there.
somewhere over there. So like on the model, you can say either internal carotid or efferent artery, depending on what he's pointing to.
Okay.
It's more or less the same thing. So going down the dorsal aorta, if you pick up the liver, that pink thing right there, yeah, that's your common carotid, celiac artery.
Celiac artery, the first one.
That one's, yeah, and then its first branch is actually your genital artery, which is the little branch that reaches to your testes.
This one.
Yeah, that's your testes, so it goes into your testes.
Right here.
And your celiac trunk artery goes up here, and it branches two ways. It goes to your, it's a gastric hepatic. It's gastrohepatic.
Which one?
You have to pull it down. So it's hard to see, but it actually branches twice.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. So one that goes down is pancreatico-mesenteric.
Right here.
Right. And then the one that goes up is your, it's for a short time, it's your gastrohepatic. Let me just double check. It's gastrohepatic.
I think it's hepatogastric.
Is it hepatic?
Yeah.
It probably is. Gastrohepatic.
Is it gastrohepatic? Damn.
Yeah, I know, it's annoying.
I mean,
Gastrohepatic.
even if you put hepatic gastric.
Gastrohepatic. Your gastrohepatic splits into your gastric artery, which is the one on the stomach, and then it doubles back to your the pink going to your liver.
So it's like that.
That's your gastric. But then you have one that's coming back to your liver.
Right here.
Yeah.
This one.
And that's
Yeah.
the hepatic.
That's a hepatic
gastric
artery.
hepatic, okay.
That-
Hepatic artery.
Yeah, because your gastrohepatic splits into your gastric and your hepatic artery.
Okay. And
then-
where's gastrohepatic?
It's a very tiny portion. You can't really
Okay, you
pin
can't
it.
really tell. Okay.
And then, yeah, the other branch, so the pancreatico-mesenteric branches four ways. It's your anterior intestinal arteries, your pyloric arteries, duodenal, and what's your fourth one? Intraintestinal arteries. So which is into the intestines. If you're looking, it's that one right there is running on the edge. That's your anterior intestinal artery. The ones running across are your annular arteries. And this is your posterior, actually, if you pull up this way. Right. So you have to be a little careful. The first branch is actually your posterior, yeah, the first branch. If you trace it up, it actually is your posterior intestinal artery, which is the one that meets up.
Because it's this one, right?
You gotta be. It's best to look at it this way because they cross over. So it's actually.
Oh, okay.
See, so this one right here.
Oh, this one crosses over.
And that's the
This one.
Posterior intestinal artery because
What's
it.
this one?
That's your gastrosplenic artery.
Oh, okay. So it crosses over, and then the ones going down to the
Yeah.
intestine is no.
It's best to pull it, yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
That's your posterior
Posterior.
intestinal artery, and the one after is your gastrosplenic because it goes into your spleen. And this one is your posterior mesenteric artery, which hooks up with your rectal gland. Yep. And the ones down here you can't really pin. You could the rectal gland, but the cloacal arteries and all of that. Since it's such a big blue mess, you can't really pin it. If you pull this one back, this fold back, the pink is I think your epigastric. Double check that. Posterior epigastric artery, the pink, and
this one?
that little pink one, and the blue are going to be your lateral abdominal veins. Just make sure I'm saying the right thing. Yeah. Lateral abdominal veins. So if you're tracing, I think that was all the arteries. If you're tracing the veins, the center is going to be your well, you have kidneys on either side, right? So the ones on the veins outside of the kidneys, you can't really tell, but
These ones,
yeah,
probably?
those are going to be your renal portal veins. They're going to drain into your afferent renal veins, efferent, and then efferent will drain into your posterior cardinal veins, which are the blue in the middle, which will run all the way up into your posterior cardinal sinuses on the model. Yeah.
So posterior cardinal veins are the blue.
Are the blue in the middle.
Okay, in the middle.
I think there are two of them that go all the way up and fill up the sinuses. And they go all the way up. What other veins are there? They're for the hepatic portal system. This gets annoying. So you have to be really careful here. That's your hepatic portal vein, that big yellow thing. Yeah. And now there are three ways. If you pull up the mesentery, see that one that goes down here? It goes all the way down and hooks up with your, it'll split two ways. It's your posterior intestinal veins and your posterior splenic. So the two posterior feed into your pancreatic.
These two, right?
Yeah. Feed into your liano-mesenteric artery. Liano-mesenteric vein. Excuse me. That's your liano-mesenteric. If you look in the portal system.
Which one's the liano-mesenteric?
That one right there.
Oh, that yellow one.
That one,
laying.
yeah.
Okay.
What about this one?
That's your posterior intestinal vein.
Okay.
And that's your posterior splenic vein.
So it's actually one and one.
So both the posteriors lead into your liano-mesenteric, and then the anterior intestinal vein and the anterior splenic vein lead into your pancreatico-mesenteric, which actually runs along the same artery. Okay. So if you pull that back, this big one right here, the one that ran along with the pancreatico-mesenteric artery, is also your pancreatico-mesenteric vein. And then the last one, I think, is your gastric. I think it's just your gastric. What's the last one? Liano-mesenteric.
having a hard time finding gastric though.
I'm trying to remember. Liano-mesenteric, pancreatico-mesenteric, and the three that drain in. What is that? Yeah, it is your gastric. Those are the three and the gastric is the yellow that drains into the, so the yellow that's there.
Stomach.
Stomach from
It's the gastric vein.
That's a gastric vein that drains into your portal vein, and the portal vein runs into your liver. And then from your liver, your portal vein drains into capillaries. The capillaries drain into the hepatic veins, which are going to be blue, which you can't really see, but those will drain into hepatic sinuses, which then go to your sinus venosus, I want to say, maybe right here. Yeah, so it'll drain up.
So it's like that, right?
Yeah, so yeah, your hepatic veins would hook up. That's your hepatic veins. So actually it might be your sinus first and then your vein, I don't know. And and there's also genital sinuses that are next to your posterior cardinal sinuses.
It's this one. Oh, you didn't
Yeah,
know that, right?
well the thing is just a giant thing of latex.
It's like that.
Yeah, it's not an actual like.
This is a sinus, and then it goes to the venous. No, what do you call it?
Sinus venosus.
Sinus venous.
Sinus venosus.
Okay.
Well, actually, before it trains into your sinus venosus, it heads into your common cardinal veins.
Yeah, that little arch.
Yeah, common cardinal vein drains your posterior cardinal sinus, your subclavian. Yeah, your subclavian, which is also including your brachial, and your anterior cardinal vein. That's what it was.